Welcome back. I'm excited today to be doing an oil change on an R1300GS. These videos are sponsored by the online part store at packmototours.com/store. You can support this channel in two ways. One is by buying your 6,000 and 12,000 mile maintenance kits for your water-cooled 1200, 1250, and now 1300 BMW motorcycles. You can also subscribe to the channel right down here. As always, I appreciate your comments and feedback. Give us a thumbs up and a like. Tell us what you think. If there's a better way of doing something, please share that here as well. Okay, today's project is changing the oil in this 2024 R1300GS. I've got 5 liters of liquid moly 4T 5W40 motor oil. It is API SN JASO MA2, so it exceeds the BMW recommendation. I've also got the new cartridge filter and, of course, crush rings and an O-ring to complete this project. You ready to get started? Let's jump right in. We will start by removing the 4 T30 screws that hold the crash plate to the bottom of the bike. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now that I have the bash plate off, you can see the drain plugs. I did say plugs. There are 2 on this 1300GS. The main drain plug is here. It is a T50 Torx. That's different than the 1200 and 1250, which was a metric hex. And the secondary drain plug is here, and it is a T30 Torx. We will start by loosening both of these. The secondary one comes at an angle. Okay, they're both loosened. Another difference in the R1300 compared to the water-cooled 1200 or 1250 is the oil filter is a cartridge oil filter, and it's on the right-hand side of the bike instead of the left-hand side. There's a cover plate right here. There are 3 T30 screws that we need to remove to get access to the cartridge. See our cartridge oil filter right there? I'm going to use a pair of channel locks just to grab either side of the oil filter. It's like a little suction in there. There we go. And there is the oil filter. Here's the oil filter cover. We need to remove this gasket and install a new one. Use a new one out of my kit. Slide on the new gasket or O-ring. There we go. I do want to point out that these 3 holes in this cover are not symmetrical, so there's only one way to put it on. You'll notice the little peace sign, the arrow pointing down, is primarily how it goes when you fit it back in. But if it's not right, just spin it around until the 3 holes line up. I have a new cartridge oil filter to put in. I'm going to lubricate this rubber just a bit. We'll slide it into place. It just kind of suctions in like that. Little lubricant, little oil on the O-ring, and you'll see it just fits right in. I don't like to use a power tool to start, but once I've got it threaded, clean this up a little bit. The oil filter is replaced. There's the larger drain plug, so I'm just going to clean it up a little bit, get any of the residue out of the magnetic reservoir. You got the 2 crush rings, so an M16 and an M10. I'll replace this crush ring with a new crush ring. And here's the smaller drain plug. Replace that crush ring as well. There we go. I'm just going to clean them up a little bit before I reinstall them. There's the main drain plug, cleaned up very nicely. Go ahead and put it back into place. Secondary drain plug's all cleaned up. The smaller secondary drain plug gets torqued to 10 Newton meters. The primary drain plug, the larger one, gets torqued to 28. We can reinstall the bash plate with the 4 T30 screws. Our last step is to add the engine oil. If I didn't already mention this, it's always a good idea to warm up the motorcycle a little bit so the engine oil is not cold, it'll drain out better. The oil filler cap is right here. It's in a different place than the 1200 and 1250, which used to be up here, so now the oil fill cap is right here. It's in a bit of an awkward location, so I would recommend using something like a long-nosed funnel to add the oil. As I said earlier, I'm going to use 5 liters, or up to 5 liters, I should say, of this liquid moly 5W40, 4T motor oil. It's API SN and JASO MA2. Is a high quality oil made in Germany, work perfectly in these BMW motorcycles. You'll notice that this is a different size fill cap as well compared to the water-cooled 1200s and 1250. The 4-liter one also has a neat little spout on it, so let's start adding oil. We've added 5 liters of oil. We need to check the sight glass to make sure it's between the min and max. We'll start the engine, get it off the lift, get it off the center stand to check our sight glass and make sure we're inside the min and max. This project only takes a couple of tools. You need a T30 Torx, a T50 Torx, a ratchet, and of course a torque wrench to set your torque settings. Now that we've added oil, buttoned up everything, now we need to reset the service light. On the 1300, you can access the OBD port underneath the seat. Previously on the 1200 and 1250, it was on this side panel, but now we access it up here. So let me show you that. The OBD port is right here under the seat. There are little push-in pins on either side that you need to squeeze together to pull out the clip. Plug in the GS911. I've connected the GS911. I've turned on the ignition and I've launched the GS911 app on my iPhone. I'll now select detected vehicle, service reminder functions, reset service reminder, so 10/9/80 or 10/9/79 for 11/16/2025. Continue. So the service reminder has now been reset. There you go. We have changed the oil and replaced the oil filter in this 2024 R1300GS. It's a pretty easy project. You should do this yourself and save a bunch of money. Remember, these videos are sponsored by the online part store at packmototours.com. Here you'll find 6,000 and 12,000 mile maintenance kits for your water-cooled R1200 and R1250 motorcycles, and now R1300 motorcycles. You can support this channel by purchasing your 6,000 or 12,000 mile maintenance kits here and by subscribing right down here in the link below. As always, give us a like, drop us a comment. If you have a better way of doing something, please share that here as well. Appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.